Hi everybody, I hope you're doing okay. I'm here now with Professor Melcangi from the University of Milan, as when I was filming the documentary on his research, he kindly offered to do a follow-up video regarding his latest published paper, which came out last month. So he's here now to just give us a bit more information on it and to give us a breakdown of what his findings are. So thank you, Professor, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Rob, and thank you for this opportunity to explain this last aspect of our research. So, the first aspect that I wish to explain you is why we considered the gut. We consider the gut, even if you are a neuroendocrinologist, so usually the gut is not our main topic. But we have considered the gut. We started this research. This researcher, the leader of this research is my collaborator, Dr. Silvia Di Vicar, which is expert in the gut-brain axis from a hormonal point of view. And so we have considered the gut also because now a lot of observation indicate that the gut is included in this gut-brain axis. And this gut-brain axis, the alteration of this axis, is also important because when you have something altered in the gut, you have also an impairment in the brain function. But it has been demonstrated in the psychiatric field, for instance, depression, anxiety, and so on is related, and also in case of neurodegeneration. So also for the neurodegenerative disorder. So we have started this story some years ago, and before Silvia published in 2019 the first paper in which in our experimental model demonstrated that the gut microbiota, I mean the bacteria that we have in the gut, are altered by the suspension with the finasteride. And they are related also with alteration with depression field, neuroinflammation, and so on. And then we confirm this aspect to 1 year after, in 2020, with a clinical study in which we have analyzed the gut microbiota in the PFS patient. And we have observed that, of course, there is some few difference between the animal model and the patient, but in general, the bacterial population are also altered in many PFS patients. So alteration of the gut microbiota imply dysbiosis, which is an inflammation in the gut. So in 2022, we have published the first paper in which we have explored whether the alteration in gut microbiota may imply also gut inflammation. And indeed, Silvia demonstrated that there is inflammation. And very interestingly, this inflammation was related with specific marker of the inflammation in the colon of these animals. I mean the interleukin-1 beta and also the TNF alpha. And we have also observed that the levels of neurotransmitter very important for the gastrointestinal function, such as the serotonin, was also altered. And interestingly, we have also observed that with the finasteride suspension, there is also an alteration in the level of the steroids. In the past, we know that the gut also synthesizes steroids, and the gut is a target for the steroids. But many researchers speak about only with the androgens, which is a specific family of the steroids. So Silvia demonstrated that the gut also synthesizes also other steroids, like for instance the allopregnanolone. Why we consider the allopregnanolone? This is another important aspect of our research. We consider this molecule because it is a very promising molecule, but it has been also proposed also for a different therapy outside the brain, but also included in the brain. We believe that there is a very important concept in the gut-brain axis, because if you have an alteration in the gut, and this alteration in the gut reflects an alteration in the brain function, in the mood, in the function of the neurons, and so on, we believe that to intervene in the gut is much easier than to intervene directly in the nervous system. So that is the reason, because we have mainly considered this approach. And allopregnanolone, surprising, but not so surprising, because as I told you, the background was very evident, also is able to counteract the inflammation in the gut. And in this second paper, we have also explored in more detail, this is the paper that we published 1 month ago, and we have explored in more details the therapeutic effect of the allopregnanolone. And the allopregnanolone is able also to counteract the increase of the macrophage infiltration in the colon. I mean, this is the marker of the inflammation in the gut. Is also to counteract the oxidative stress which is present, is able to also to increase the PPR alpha. The PPR alpha is a molecule which exert anti-inflammatory effect, and we have reported that this may be interesting, this marker, and may be interesting because the finasteride suspension is able to decrease this anti-inflammatory marker. So this marker is a response of our body to the inflammation. And the allopregnanolone is able to influence the level of this anti-inflammatory marker. Then we have also observed that also the morphology of the colon is affected in terms of cell size, is depth of the different cells of the colon, and so on, by the finasteride suspension. And again, allopregnanolone is able to counteract this effect. So, but what is very interesting in this last paper is that on the contrary to the last one, in which we concentrate our attention only in the gut, in this paper, we also analyze what happens in the nervous system. And we have observed that the finasteride suspension is able to also to affect the permeability of the blood-brain barrier. And that is important because the microbiota send the signals to the brain, and these signals are usually the main signals are the short fatty acid. And we have observed that these are metabolites of the gut microbiota. And we have observed that these short fatty acid are altered by the suspension with the finasteride. And the treatment with the allopregnanolone is able to reestablish also these signals. Indeed, the reestablishment of these signals, they counteract this degenerative effect. This therapeutic effect also, reestablishing these signals, also is able to counteract neuroinflammation, which is present in a specific brain area, which is the hypothalamus, which is important for is a sort of clock for our endocrinological field. And so we believe that, of course, this is a third step the gut-brain axis. We have to work a lot again, but in our opinion, this is very promising because we have now a candidate for the therapy in the PFS, which in our opinion may be the allopregnanolone. Really, we don't know whether we will use the allopregnanolone itself or some synthetic analogs of the allopregnanolone. Indeed, usually in the clinical approach, it's better to use not the allopregnanolone itself, but other synthetic analog like the zuranolone or the brexanolone, which are the molecules that, for instance, the USA has been also utilized in the clinical approach. So we are very, very confident for the future. Of course, this is a further piece in the puzzle that is very complicated, the PFS.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for all this information. It's really helpful. I guess I just have one question, which is, do you have other papers in the works currently? Could you give us a bit more information about what's to come from your research?
Yeah. But indeed, we are starting exploring the gastrointestinal functionality, but then we have also to concentrate, to focus our attention in the brain function. Indeed, we are already performing experiments that are based on our literature data that we intend to analyze the synaptogenesis. We intend to further explore the neuroinflammation, and then we need also to further explore the signals that are coming from the bacteria located in the gastrointestinal area, also arrived in the brain and modulate this effect. So for the moment, we are utilizing the experimental model because before to translate all these concepts in the clinical approach, we need a very strong background because to treat or to start to treat the patient, we need also the permission from the ethical committee. And so that is the reason, because we still need a very strong background. But we believe that we have in the right direction. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you so much for your time, Professor. I'm sure we'll be in touch in the future. Thank you.
Thank you to you, Rob.
So guys, if you haven't seen my full-length documentary on Professor Melcangi's research into PFS and PSSD, you can check it out in the description of this video down below. Also, if you wish to donate, which is crucial to his work, there's also a link to donate down there in the description box as well. So please, if you can give anything at all, it really helps move this issue forwards. So thank you very much. I'll be back with more content soon, and please look after yourselves. Thank you very much.